2019 has been the year where I have read more epic fantasy than I have read probably in my whole entire adult life. So today I am here to share 5 epic fantasies from my TBR to yours. So let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? I hope you guys are doing so well. Can you believe that 2019 is really coming to a close? I sat down to sort of start thinking about the books that I wanted to make sure I got through by the end of the year and realized the list is enormous. And then I started to look at all the books from years past that I still want to read, and then it got overwhelming. So I just decided, read what you want, Russell. That's what you need to do. Get through the books as fast as you can get through them. As I said in the intro, that 2019 has been really a year where I have gone back and re-embraced my love of the fantasy novel. Now, I read a lot of fantasy in junior high and high school. It was one of my go-tos, but once I went to college and sort of majored in literature, not a lot of fantasy reading there, and then I just never really got back to it. I would read one here or there, but I really just sort of stuck with modern fiction and went from there. But mainly a lot actually inspired by my friend Chris over at Chris's Bookish Cauldron. He has really thrown a lot of fantasy titles at me this year and said, you might like this, try that. And it really has made me embrace the genre even more, and it has been fantastic. So I'm here today to share 5 titles from my TBR to your TBR. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of that ever elusive TBR. And also, if you are so able, pre-order these books or order them from your local independent bookstore and have your library get them for you so that you can get your hands on them as soon as possible. So let's get started. The first book that I'm going to tell you about is Gates of Stone by Angus Macallan. Angus Macallan is actually the pseudonym for an Angus Donald, I believe is his last name. Donald, yes. He is a British fiction writer, and interestingly enough, by the back of the book, you learn that he was born in China, spent most of his early life up into his young adulthood in China, so he's done a lot of academic research and publications on Asian fantasy and culture. I want to say, let me get this right. He's been awarded a master's degree with honors in social anthropology, partly based on his fieldwork in Indonesia, which led to a dissertation called Magic, Sorcery, and Society. I just think that's really, really interesting. I will be honest, whenever I see Angus, I want to say Agnes. I don't know why. Maybe it's my love of women in their 70s, and there's a lot of Agneses in my life. So I apologize, Angus, if I say your name incorrectly while I'm talking about your book. Gates of Stone is the story of really 3 characters. We have a young empress who is denied the throne, and in revolt to not being given the throne she feels she deserves, she kills the man that she is supposed to marry and goes on an adventure to an island where she feels she can get the power and the money and everything she needs to overtake her kingdom. We also have another young man, I believe, a prince, who his land has been taken over by an evil sorcerer. Most of his people have been killed, and a magical artifact has been stolen from his people. And he is now on an adventure to that same island as our empress in an attempt to get this artifact back to stop this sorcerer. And the third character is the sorcerer, who is his goal is to collect these magical artifacts to destroy the world as we know it. And he winds up going to the island as well, and sort of all 3 of these stories converge on this island called Lot Basar, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but I love that the Empress, she is supposed to be the Empress of the Ice Bear Throne, which I just love. So there's so much. I think this sounds really, really fantastic. I love this cover so much. So that's Gates of Stone by Angus Macallan, and this is out from Ace, and you can get your hands on it right now. Okay. The day that I bought that book, I was just going through sort of the shelves at the bookstore looking at fantasy books, and this book absolutely caught my attention. I had to pick it up, and that is Song of Blood and Stone. This is book 1 in the Earthsinger Chronicles by Penelope. And I'm just going to hold you up that because that's another fantastic cover. So this is set in a world where there are 2 empires that are separated by a magical veil or a wall that keeps them from being able to enter each other's kingdoms. But that wall is starting to crack. And one of the kingdoms wants to invade the other and take over, and is aware that the wall is falling, and is preparing his invasion into this other kingdom. Our main protagonist is a young woman who just wants to be left alone. She wants to live on this farm. She is segregated from her community, one, by the color of her skin, and two, by her affinity for something called earth song magic, which she has an affinity for, but her people are not a fan that she has. One day she comes across a group of people who are from that other kingdom, who don't realize that they've crossed over, that they've passed through the veil, and a spy from her kingdom who is there to try to stop them. And then it becomes an adventure. And the way it says here, through Jack the Spy, Jasminda, that's our young woman, learns that the mantle is weakening, allowing people to slip through without notice. And even more troubling, the other country is mobilizing. And if no one finds a way to restore the mantle, it might be too late for her country. So their only hope lies in uncovering the secrets of the queen who sleeps. And Jasminda's earth song is the key to unravel them. That sounds so good. So this is Song of Blood and Stone, book 1 in the Earth Singer Chronicles, out from St. Martin, Griffin, and it's by L. Penelope. I love that cover so much. Going into a little fantasy set in the modern world is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. They produced a set of novellas that I absolutely loved, where it was a cowboy set in a world where they rode hippos. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I am awful sometimes when it comes to names of books. Let's see if they have it in here. Of course they don't. But I can't remember the name of it, but I absolutely loved both of those novellas. Sorry, Sarah. But this is set in modern day San Francisco in a world where there are schools of magic. Our main character is actually a non-magical private eye who has a very, very magical sister. And a murder goes down at this school where her sister works, and she goes in to solve it. Everyone I know that's read this has really enjoyed this book, and I do love Sarah Gailey's writing. They have a way of just bringing you into their world that is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited about this one. I picked it up as soon as it came out. It has great end papers too. I just want to point that out. This is so fun. Yeah. And this is out from Tor. You can get your hands on it right now. That is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. Okay. Next is probably a book, maybe the most talked about book on this list that came out this year. And it has also a fantastic cover. Fantasy books get fantastic covers. Can we talk about that? There is just so much amazing art that comes out of that world, and they get really great covers. And now we're going to talk about The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow. And this is out from Redhook Fiction. So let's just admire the cover really quickly. This is the story of a young woman. Her name is January Scholar. She lives in this mansion where she's really also considered a curiosity to the owner who runs the mansion, who just keeps it full of artifacts and things of past and history. Then one day she finds a book, and what it says here is, then she finds a strange book, a book that carries the scent of other worlds and tells a tale of secret doors of a love, adventure, and danger. Each page turn reveals impossible truths about the world, and January discovers a story increasingly entwined with her own. So, everything about that I absolutely love. I love a book within a book. I love a book within a book that leads to a magical world. So I'm so excited about this one. I've just been putting it off a little bit. It's got a little bit of hype. You know how I feel about books that have hype. I gotta distance myself for it. But I am really excited about The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow. That cover, again, just gorgeous. Yes. Last but not least is the book that is coming out in January of 2020 from Tor. What's really exciting about this is it's a 4-book series, and every book is going to come out month after month. So January, the first one, February, March, and April. So unlike sometimes happens with an epic fantasy where you read one and then it takes so long for that next one to come out, these books are going to come out in a row in January through April. And that is A Queen in Hiding, The Nine Realms, Book 1. I think it's funny that it's called The Nine Realms with 4 books. For some reason, I expect it to have 9 books. I don't know why. And it is by Sarah Kazloff. And she was just lovely. I posted a picture of this book when I got it on Instagram, and she just was so kind to say that those of us on Instagram that post pictures of her book, we have such different ways of showing it off. Yep, and then someone commented that Sarah is her creative writing teacher, I believe, and didn't know that she even produced fantasy novels. So that was really a fun little exchange on my Instagram. The Queen of Hiding, this starts as the story of Princess Cerelia, that's how I'm going to say it, Cerelia, where she has been exiled and she is being hunted. What I love about the blurb of this, it says, she must master the magic of her birthright. She must become a ruthless guerrilla fighter and transform into the queen she is destined to be. But to do this, she must win the favor of the spirits who play in mortal affairs and assemble an unlikely group of rebels and wrest the throne from a corrupt aristocracy whose rot has spread throughout her kingdom. I am on board. I think I'm going to see if I can get every one of these and read them in order because I think it sounds fantastic. And that is A Queen in Hiding. It's book 1 in the Nine Realms series by Sarah Kazloff. And this is out from Tor, January. Do I have an actual date on here? Just says January 2020. I apologize, I don't have the specific release date, but you guys can figure it out. It's there, you can find it. And then you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 months in a row. So that is a list. Let's see if I can hold these up for you guys. That is a stack of 5 fantasy novels from my TBR to yours. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I thank you so very, very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope that this video finds you and you subscribe and you want to come back for more. As always, I always encourage you to shop locally, read globally, and until next time, happy reading. I'll talk to you later. Bye.